I got kicked out at 16 after getting pregnant. Now I am a happy woman married with the love of my life. I have 3 beautiful kids. My parents are trying to reach out to me, and I don't know what to do. Hey, Reddit. I need your advice on something really personal and complex. I've been grappling with a huge decision and could use some outside perspectives. This is a long story, but I promise it's worth it. Here's my journey in detail. Part 1. A life shattered. The picture perfect world. My life as a teenager was one of comfort and predictability. I lived in a quiet suburban town where everyone seemed to know everyone else. My parents, Robert and Lisa, were the epitome of conventional wisdom and love. Robert was a high school history teacher with a stern but fair demeanor, while Lisa was a dedicated homemaker who was always involved in PTA meetings and neighborhood events. I had a small circle of friends and was deeply involved in school activities. My future seemed to stretch out before me like a well-trodden path. I had dreams of going to college, pursuing a career in art, and living a life filled with possibilities. The unexpected twist. My world changed drastically when I found out I was pregnant at 16. The discovery was nothing short of a nightmare. I remember that day vividly. The summer sun was bright, but my world felt dark. I'd been feeling nauseous and tired, but I attributed it to stress and the end-of-year school grind. The positive pregnancy test was a jarring shock, a cold reality crashing into my idealistic world. Telling my parents was one of the hardest moments of my life. Their reaction was explosive. My mother's face went ashen as she read the test results, while my father's expression was a mix of disappointment and anger. They didn't just express their discontent, they laid down an ultimatum: terminate the pregnancy or face the consequences. Their words were harsh, their disappointment palpable, the ultimate consequence. Unable to comply with their demands, I found myself homeless. My parents told me to leave. It felt like a betrayal, a rupture in the fabric of my life. I packed what little I could carry and left the home that had once been my sanctuary. My world, which had once seemed so secure, was now unstable and uncertain. Daniel, my then boyfriend, stepped up in a way I hadn't expected. He was a year older, with a quiet strength that complemented my turmoil. Together, we managed to secure a small, rundown apartment on the outskirts of town. It was a far cry from the comfortable home I had known, but it was a space we could call our own. Part 2. Building a new life survival mode. The early months were a whirlwind of challenges. We struggled financially, with Daniel working odd jobs while I juggled part-time work and finishing high school. Our apartment was small, with peeling wallpaper and a leaky faucet that seemed to drip incessantly, but it was our space, and it became the backdrop of our new life. The emotional and financial stress was immense. We faced long nights worrying about how to make ends meet. Despite the hardships, we found moments of joy in the simple things: Daniel's laughter, the warmth of our small apartment, and the growing anticipation of our baby's arrival. The birth of Emily. When Emily was born, it was a bittersweet moment. The delivery was grueling, and I remember the exhaustion that settled over me like a heavy blanket. But when I held Emily for the first time, all the pain and struggle melted away. She was a tiny, perfect bundle of joy, and her presence filled my heart with a fierce, protective love. Daniel was by my side, his eyes moist with tears of joy as he cradled our daughter. It was a raw, beautiful moment, a stark contrast to the chaos we had experienced. Emily's arrival marked a new beginning for us, one filled with hope and determination, marriage and family growth. Despite the challenges, our bond grew stronger. Daniel proposed to me on Emily's first birthday in a simple but heartfelt ceremony. We married in a small, intimate gathering with just a few close friends. The wedding was a modest affair, but it was filled with love and a sense of achievement. Our family continued to grow with the birth of Lucas, our second child. Lucas's arrival brought its own set of challenges, but also immense joy. He was a sweet and easygoing baby, and his presence added a new dimension to our family life. A few years later, we welcomed Sophia, our third child. Sophia was spirited and demanding, but her infectious laughter brightened our days. Our family of 5 felt complete, and despite the trials we faced, we found immense happiness in our shared moments. Part 3. The unexpected outreach. The message: our lives were stable and our family was thriving. Then, out of the blue, I received a message from an unknown number. It read, "We've been trying to reach you. We want to talk. Can we meet?" My heart sank when I saw my mother's name at the end of the message. The message stirred a whirlwind of emotions. I felt a mix of anger, confusion, and a flicker of hope. Why were they reaching out now? After years of silence, their sudden attempt to reconnect felt both intrusive and unsettling. Emotional turmoil, I was torn between a desire for closure and a fear of reopening old wounds. The pain of being abandoned by my parents was something I had worked hard to overcome. Now, their reappearance threatened to unravel the stability I had painstakingly built. The decision making process. I've been mulling over several key factors in my decision making process. Seeking closure. Part of me wants to hear them out, to understand why they're reaching out after all these years. It could provide answers and a sense of closure. Fear of reopening wounds. I'm apprehensive about the emotional fallout. The hurt from being abandoned is real, and I worry that their presence could reignite those old feelings of rejection and pain. Impact on my family. My husband and children are central to my life now. I'm concerned about how reconnecting with my parents might affect them, both emotionally and practically. Setting boundaries. If I choose to engage with my parents, I need to ensure that it doesn't disrupt our family life. Clear boundaries would be essential to protect our well-being. Imagining possible scenarios. I've been considering various scenarios and their potential outcomes. Positive outcome. What if the meeting leads to a meaningful reconnection? It might offer a chance to heal old wounds and build a new relationship. My children could benefit from knowing their grandparents. Negative outcome. What if the meeting only brings more pain and conflict? The risk of reopening old grievances and causing emotional turmoil is significant. Unresolved outcome. The meeting might lead to no clear resolution, leaving me feeling more confused and unsettled about the past and the future. Part 4. Discussing with Daniel. A heart-to-heart, I knew I needed to talk to Daniel about the message. He had been my rock through so many challenges, and his opinion was crucial. One evening, after the kids were asleep, we sat down together. The soft glow of the lamp illuminated our faces as I broke the news to him. Daniel, I got a message from my parents. They want to meet. I'm not sure what to do. Daniel listened intently, his expression a mix of concern and support. What are you thinking? I'm torn, I admitted. Part of me wants to hear them out, but I'm afraid of what it might bring up. I don't want to jeopardize what we have. Daniel took my hand gently. We'll face this together. If you think it's important, we'll find a way to handle it. Just remember, our family's well-being comes first. We need to make sure this doesn't upset the balance we've worked so hard to create. Considering the kids, we also discussed the potential impact on our children. Their well-being was a priority. How would they react if I chose to reconnect with my parents? We needed to ensure that any decisions made would not disrupt their lives or cause unnecessary confusion. Part 5. Weighing the options. Pros and cons. I've been weighing the pros and cons of meeting my parents. Pros. Closure. Meeting them might provide closure and a sense of resolution. Understanding. It could offer insights into their motivations and regrets. Possibility of reconnection. There's a chance for healing and establishing a new relationship. Cons. Emotional risk. The risk of reopening old wounds and causing emotional pain. Impact on family. Potential disruptions to my family's stability and happiness. Unresolved issues. The possibility that the meeting might not lead to any clear resolution or improvement in our relationship. Seeking advice. I'm reaching out to Reddit for advice on how to proceed. Have any of you faced a similar situation? How did you handle reconnecting with estranged family members? What factors did you consider in your decision-making process? Epilogue. Moving forward. As I grapple with this decision, I'm focused on maintaining the stability and happiness of my family. The past remains a part of my story, but I'm committed to ensuring that it does not overshadow the present. I'm grateful for the support and advice I've received, and I'm hopeful for guidance on navigating this complex situation. Thank you for taking the time to read my story and for any advice you can offer.